Hello and welcome again to Oscar Mike Radio here on Wreaths Across America Radio number 428. Thank you so much for ending 2024 with Oscar Mike Radio here on Wreaths Across America Radio, the final show for 2024. Thank you so much. I'm going to do something different to end this year on Wreaths Across America Radio. I'm going to start by talking about my first Wreaths Across America event in Quincy, Mass. At Mount Wollaston Cemetery. Abington Veteran Service Officer Adam Gunn got with me and said, hey, Christine from Quincy, the Quincy VSO, is looking for help in with a ceremony for Wreaths Across America. And I'm very familiar with Wreaths Across America. If you go back to this time last year, I had interviewed several people from Wreaths Across America, Karen Worcester, amongst others who, were part of the organization. And I learned a lot, but I hadn't ever been to a lane of the wreaths. I just never been. You can support me and Wreaths Across America by going to the link I'm going to have in the show post, where we'll take you to a website where you can purchase a wreath, and that funds a wreath for veterans' graves, but also gives $5 to I Got Your 6 Lives at Once. And I'm very familiar with all of that. I'm very familiar with the 8 points of value that the wreath represents and how it's done. And the wreaths are made about 3.5 hours north of me in Maine. What a beautiful state Maine is. I really love being in Maine, and something just happens to me when I'm going through that state no matter where I go. But I'd never been to an actual ceremony. And I get there, and I want to start off by saying that it can be easy to get jaded this time of year and feel depressed and lonely and isolated for a lot of reasons for a lot of different people, right? But how great it was to see the city of Quincy turn out for this event. And Quincy is just south of Boston, Massachusetts. It's a good-sized city with a large, diverse population, and that population represented on that day a couple weeks ago in Quincy, Massachusetts at Mount Wollaston Cemetery. And you could tell that the city has really puts a premium on making sure the cemetery is pristine and neat for those whose loved ones are interred at the cemetery. But also they really went through and redid the veterans section in the cemetery. If you come in the front entrance, you will see the service branches flags represented from the Army, Marine Corps, all the way through to Space Force and the Coast Guard. You will see cannon there and other items to represent veteran services, World War I monument, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam War, and the Global War on Terror. It's just really well done. It's really a special place. And I show up there and I meet Christine, and she goes over what's going to happen. I meet other people that are going to place the wreath as part of the ceremony. I was representing the Marine Corps and had my Marine Corps League cover on. I'm a life member, very proud of that. And got to meet other people from different branches. They had the Mass Maritime Academy, the Merchant Marines there. I don't know if we had a Space Force veteran there, but they had that represented. But, kudos to the Army veteran. He was actually active duty, coming in his full uniform. He looked sharp. And, it was just great seeing these veterans of different ages, different times of service, different demographics come together to do the ceremony. It was explained to me that, hey, you're going to get the wreath from the table. You're going to salute the Marine there. And it was a corporal who was on recruiting duty. And he would hand me the wreath. He would salute me. I would salute him. And then I'd go place the wreath. And I did that, and it was really special because, again, the city of Quincy really came out in a big way to support this event. Big way. and they really were proud of what they were able to do. And it was, all different demographics, different ethnic demographics, men and women, boys and girls, uh, senior citizens, different nationalities in the Quincy area, a lot of Asians, um, you know, other, white Irish descendants from, Dorchester and South Boston. It's truly a melting pot of a city. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing to see this all come together. And so the ceremony was done. The mayor of Quincy shows up and talks about what this meant to him as a longtime Quincy resident and other people in Quincy city government, what it means to veterans, and then the restart being laid. And it was really, in closing, I would say, watching the care that people, civilians, a lot of them, had for the wreath and the wreath laying ceremony was really, really special. It was really, really unique. And I felt that if you were a family member of a veteran that had, passed away or fallen in service through some other way, that you could see that people wanted to make sure that that was honored. And even though it was a cold, windy day here in New England, people came out and bundled up and took that time to honor that person. It just goes back to something that I've talked about a whole lot. As long as somebody is being remembered, then they're never truly gone. And so I just wanted to say thank you to Christine, the Quincy, Massachusetts Veteran Services Officer, Adam Gunn, who, encouraged me to reach out to her to participate per her request. Everybody who came to Mount Wollaston to lay the wreath, and then the enthusiastic support that Quincy has for her veterans just really was a great way to start the holiday season. So again, today is December 26th. It's 8 p.m. I'm Travis with Oscar Mike Radio. We're Oscar Mike Mission Flight, and now I'm going to do something very, very different. I'm going to read the Christmas story. Now, I know it's the 26th, and technically it's the day after Christmas, but I want to end the year doing something different, because if you're in the military, you had duty on Tuesday. You're supposed to be, quote, off, close quote, on Christmas Day. There's people who are cycling in to make sure things are still working. And then, I don't know, I can't remember how we did Liberty if Christmas was on a Wednesday. I don't know if I can't remember. But you're getting some time off. And for our soldiers, sailors, Marines, and airmen, and our Coast Guard, and Space Force, it is well earned. So I wanted to end the year, number 428, with something different. And I'm going to read the Christmas story from Luke chapter 2, verse 1 through 20, New International Version. I wanted to do this, again, to do something different, to really give honor to God and glory to Jesus during this time of year. It is about the birth of Jesus, and I wanted to give honor to that, but also to remind myself that, there's still good in this world. And again, going back to the Wreaths Across America event, I felt like we got to see a little bit of that during that time. So I'm going to read from the Bible, Luke chapter 2, verse 1 through 20, about the birth of Jesus. And so, thank you. Here we go. In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. This was the first census that had taken place in a while. And everyone went to their own town to register. So Joseph also went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to Bethlehem, the town of David, because he belonged to the house and line of David. He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him and was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. She wrapped him in cloths and placed him in a manger, because there was no guest room available for them. And there were shepherds living in the field nearby, keeping watch over their flocks at night. An angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid. I bring you good news that will cause great joy for all the people. Today in the town of David, a Savior has been born to you. He is the Messiah, the Lord. This will be a sign to you. You will find a baby wrapped in cloths and lying in a manger." Suddenly a great company of the heavenly host appeared with the angel, praising God and saying, "Glory to God in the highest heaven, and on earth peace to those on whom his favor rests." When the angels had left them and gone into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, "Let's go to Bethlehem and see this thing that has happened, which the Lord has told us about." So they hurried off and found Mary and Joseph and the baby who was lying in the manger. When they had seen him, they spread the word concerning what had been told them about this child. And all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds had said to them. But Mary treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart. The shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all the things they had heard and seen, which were just as they had been told. I really hope that your year ends on a good note. I know that people experience loss, heartache, and hardship every day of the year, and the holiday season is no exception. But I hope that during this time that somehow, some way, you found a way to feel connected to all of us. For us veterans, for those who are serving the military right now, our active duty service members, many of them do not get to come home for Christmas or spend the holidays with their family. They are on ships, they are at air bases, they are, deployed somewhere or coming back to the U.S. from being deployed from somewhere. They're doing their job, and they sacrifice those times that a lot of us take for granted so we can have the kind of life and we can enjoy this time with family and friends. For those who have served, we go back and we remember those times where we got to go home and it was a great time during our service. We remember what it was like not being able to go home. And, for me, the Chow Hall had like a Christmas dinner, and it wasn't bad. Wasn't like home, but it wasn't bad either. And some of us got together and got around the tree we had put together. Thank you, Corporal Palatino and Corporal Rogers, God rest her soul. And we had Christmas. And we go back and remember those times. Not for that long, but still, those times happened. And increasingly, we are finding out the danger, the downward spiral isolation will do to someone. So regardless if you served or not, regardless if you are serving now or not, this is just for anyone. Try not to isolate. It could be just with somebody, a friend or family member. But as long as you're around somebody, you're not alone. You don't have to be in a big, huge crowd of people or at a big Christmas party event. But I would encourage you just to be with somebody during this time. Because by us serving and being away from our friends and family, we can enjoy these times now. I end 2024 as Oscar Mike Radio on a very good note. I certainly appreciate all the great support I have gotten from everyone over this year, and things are looking very, very bright going into year number 9 of doing Oscar Mike Radio. And I certainly hope that your holidays are safe and happy. I appreciate, again, the ability to do this and keep doing this and seeing what has happened in my life and other people's lives, because people are deciding to, serve, be outside themselves, and be in the moment with those they love and care about. And my objective is still the same as it was when I first started Oscar Mike Radio. I want to know that one day that my show helped one person. And if I can say that I helped one person, then I have completed the mission of what I have wanted to do with Oscar Mike Radio. And you might not want to start a podcast. You might not want to be behind a microphone or a camera lens at all. But for those of you who are serving other humans, and I say that because I don't want this to be limited just to veterans in this time. If you have volunteered to help another human being out, if you have given of yourself, taken time out of your day, taken time out of your life to help somebody and spent your money, but more importantly, your time touching someone else who may not be as fortunate as you, I think you're the greatest gift to our humanity at this time. We don't treasure you all enough. And the fact that you wanted to help somebody with no expectation of recognition or reward is truly admirable. So I want to close out this special Wreaths Across America radio show with Oscar Mike Radio saying thank you again so much for being a gift to humanity. I will see you all in 2025. We're Oscar Mike, Mission in Flight. Merry Christmas.